during BP visit for burial. What's your take on that? Is it something that Kenyans should be looking forward for, or you as Gen Z, what do you say on that?
Actually, we have realized that the government of the day resorts to violence to try to subdue the rising voices of the Kenyan people. And that is what happened with the former DP, Rigathi Gachagua. It is very unfortunate, but that is what is. You know, when I was in first year of law school, I was taught in jurisprudence that there's the law that is and the law that is ought to be. So which is law? Is it law that is ought to be or law that is? We actually have an aspiration to have the law as it ought to be. But as we speak, we have law as is, where we are saying that in Article 50, that anyone, an arrested person, is not guilty until that guilt is proven. All right? We cannot, I mean, you know, in other words, we would be very eager to see someone who we've seen as knocked someone by a car be taken to jail directly, but you can't. They have to actually prove that there was intent to kill whomever they kill on the road. So the state as is that we have violence, and government is using violence to respond to some of these things. But what we would want to see as young people, and what we are actually trying to speak about and to fight for, and we are fighting because we know there is hope and there is, well, commonly light at the end of the tunnel, so that ultimately, when we are able to amass numbers and the people of Kenya are able to speak all in one accord and say that enough is enough, then we shall have that Kenya that ought to be. We shall have a state where no one can go just to a funeral and they be attacked in a funeral. A very sad state of affairs, but it's a political play anyway. Yes.
You are saying that Gen Z movement is not dead, but truly speaking, Gen Z movement is not being felt by Kenyans.
Yes.
Moving forward, are you still going to hold press conferences, or there's something else you're intending to do?
Thank you. Gen Z movement is not dead, and as you've rightly put it, is not being felt. You know, we've had so many people, and the people of Kenya, and I think everyone else everywhere, always tend to believe in key figures that come out to try to portray the idea or the principles that the team is working for. We've had people believing in individuals, and we've had individuals divert to other things. We've had individuals defect to other things. My friends here have spoken to matters of self-interest, matters of lack of accountability. When we are calling the government to be accountable, ourselves we can't be accountable. You know, matters of just other principles. So we can see there was sort of a diverted attention from the main goal. But we can say that we are happy in the year of our Lord 2024, December, that God has opened our eyes and we are back to track. That's why we are here. This is just the beginning. Moving forward, we won't even call for a press conference, only when need be. But you guys shall be covering the actions that we shall be portraying and doing as we move forward. I think there's maybe you want to
add something. I know on the question you asked, it touches on what we actually going to do going forward. And this is just a courtesy reminder to the DCI that constitutionally your work is to investigate where there is allegations. I want to urge you, I know you know that is what you ought to be doing. Let us embrace a culture where if Sankara asks for questionable integrity, avoid the drama. You are wasting public money going for one individual with 10 Subarus. Are you normal? Just summon this person, then showcase they didn't appear, and then you can act on it. We can avoid these dramas. Let us learn to make our country the portrait we portray out there as a civilized nation, where individuals, if have issues, they are summoned in a very constitutional way and their rights are still protected. We don't want this militarization and police state that we see in East Africa, where people are being picked left, right and center and no one is accounting for it. And to add on that, the current DP just hurt me when he was the Minister Interior, when he said, and I quote, "Not everyone shot in the demonstrations was shot by the police." I mean, How many Kenyans are allowed to walk with guns? That shows you the recklessness and the irresponsibility in the higher office. Because everyone who was marshaled to the street in the name of police, they were all sanctioned and they have team leaders. So when an individual or a citizen is being shot by a person armed to the teeth, and then our old minister telling us that we are not accountable for that, are we really in a democratic state or not? So we must engage going forward by protecting and respecting the rights of Kenyans. No one is guilty until proven guilty, not by the court of men, but by the court of law. Thank you.
Is there any other question? Or we can. Okay, so finally, we are calling on every Kenyan to support the cause that we have started, because this is a just cause. Actually, we are just continuing the cause. To support the cause so that we can actually be felt, and being felt is not just by Kenyans but by the government itself, so that it can respond positively to what we are calling the government to do. We are open to having conversations with everyone and anyone across the country, and we are not going to let, or rather leave, anyone behind. For any young person who wants to undertake civic education or civic engagement in whichever capacity at whatever place, you are open to do so. But should you see us going around engaging the people, and it is something of interest to you, you want to be part of it, come. We shall all work together. We shall engage you, and as you also engage us in what is happening on the real ground and on your local communities. I think with that, we thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.